So you might be thinking, oh, awesome room, man. Oh, sweet, dude. No. This place is a mess. Literally, the most awful way you could ever have your hobby room is like this. So messy, so terrible. So I thought, you know what? While I clean this crap up and make this more organized, I'm going to make a video about it. So welcome back, guys. Thank you for tuning in. This is the video on how to turn your hobby room into something awesome from, Dollar Tree. So let's get into it. So this is the aisle that you're kind of looking for in the Dollar Tree store, and also the tool aisle is also an aisle that you want to check out as well, because there's a lot of good stuff in there too. Here I found a couple of brushes and some other things that you'll see. These tubs are awesome for organizing stuff. All other tubs that you'd find at other stores are so freaking expensive. It's crazy. So definitely check out some tubs and organization things. And you can see here with all this Tupperware, you can organize stuff too. This is one of my favorite things that I found. It's an awesome organizer for your tools and stuff. And also they sell bubble wrap here, and usually bubble wrap is pretty expensive. So this table looks awful. I hate the look of this table, and so I just figured, you know what? What's a cheap and easy way to make this freshen up is a nice black tablecloth to just put on top of it, and you can literally get any type of colored tablecloth at the dollar store in the party section. And this tablecloth just cleans it up a little bit and makes it look a little bit nicer. This table that I got was actually free. It was on the side of the road by the dumpster, and so I picked it up. It was in good condition, and yeah, so I'm just sharpening it up with a tablecloth. So now this thing is awesome. This is like the best thing that I found at the dollar store. I'm just putting some scribing utensils in that middle section there, and you can see I already have some X-Acto blades in the middle. This thing is sweet. You can literally use this for anything. I might go back to the dollar store and get like 5 of these things because they're awesome. So there I'm just putting in some knives that I bought from the dollar store and my X-Acto knives. And some filing stuff and my drill. Just random things that I may not use a whole bunch, but I still use enough to have them in a compartment where I may need to get to them. Here, I'm going to show you how to put some crap brushes in there, and this actually works really good for brushes and paints, I found out. I don't use these brushes for any detailing. You could if you wanted to try to. I essentially use them for washes and stuff, but also I'm going to pop some paints in this little organization section too. Honestly, these brushes, like, you could literally buy a set of brushes for $15 to $20 maybe, $10, $15 sometimes. I've bought one brush for $5. So finding a whole bunch of these brushes for $1, I mean, you can't really go wrong with that. As you can see here, I'm just popping those paints in, and it actually does make a nice ideal spot for paints if you wanted to use it for that. You know, your little square paints, your Model Master paints, bigger circles, and also your Vallejo paints as well. So they all fit in there nice and good, and if you wanted to space it out more, you could. And if you wanted to lay them out better so you could see the colors better, you could. I tried it all different ways. I just thought this was the coolest and nicest looking way. And also you could use your dollar store paint in there, which I actually thought would look the nicest. This organizer I actually bought for my airbrush because that was a mess. So I'm just putting some paper towel in for when it's wet. It's not right now, but it will be when I use it. And I have a little plunger in there and some needles that have plenty of room so they won't get ruined while they're in that spot. And some tools. I mean, you can see I have plenty of room for all my airbrush stuff. And it just looks so nice. So I'm super happy with this thing. But also my needle nose is in there too. This was actually my favorite way I could have used this station. Everything looks so neat and nice when I put everything in here, and it just looks great, and it's super handy. So I'm just putting my plastic putties in, my decal solutions, some glue that I use, bare metal foil glue, and regular glues that I use all the time. I mean, this was my favorite way to use this, and those are some super glues there. This is my favorite way to use this station here. So onto the brush organizer. This thing is sweet. I really am tickled with this find. You just pull it out and put it together in a matter of seconds. And I had no idea they actually made these things. But as you see, you just put the 3 posts in, pop the whole thing together, it's ready, it's done, and you have a nice looking brush organizer in your room. So this is an idea I've had for a while. If you don't remember, I did buy some white foam, but I'm going to use black here because I want you to see the edges better. And I've thought about doing one of these for a long time because I've spent so much money on trying to find that perfect paint organizer and just couldn't. And whenever I've looked at the ones that the main, hobby guys use, they're like $50 per section or $10 per section, and if I ordered the one off Wish, I wouldn't get it for another 3 months. I don't even want to wait 3 months. So I spent 5 minutes building this little foam paint organizer, and literally the best idea I think I've ever had in the hobby room. Literally, guys, it took me, and I'm not the best with foam. Like, I'm pretty sloppy with the hot glue, and it's been a while since I've worked with it, but it literally took me about 10 minutes to make this thing total. And that's with sizing everything up and figuring everything out. So basically, it's super simple. Make 2 triangles, 2 squares, all relatively the same size, connect them together somehow, and put in a shelf. Like, super easy for cheap, and I use 10%. That's a 10-cent organizer right there. And it looks good enough for the hobby room. If you used white, then everything would blend in other than this black. So it looks a little bit more terrible, but if you used white, everything would blend in. And also with foam, you can actually fold the corners over so that they overlap, and you wouldn't even see the edges anyways. I just spent literally the least amount of time and the least amount of money on this thing, and it came out great. So I'm really happy with this. I'm actually going to use this for my wash series that I have from Vallejo, and I think that will be a really good spot to separate that type of paint from my other paint. So as you saw earlier in the video, I actually bought this, I don't even know what it's called. It's brown paper. Super cheap from the dollar store, and there's a bunch of it. So I just laid that down as a mat, and these things are really awesome. These also I found at the dollar store. They are little part holders, and they're the best when you're working on a lot of projects at the same time. Now that you got your hobby room all set up, time to start taking some notes on your next project. I actually really liked all their notebooks that they had at the dollar store. Like I said, $1. I mean, you probably buy at Walmart $3 or $4 for a notebook. Well, it's $1 at the dollar store. And just a super good way to take notes on some of the models that you do, maybe some of the collections that you might want, maybe the collections that you already have. Just a lot of good uses for these notebooks for you. And yeah, so I just thought this is a really cool thing to put in this video. There really is so many things you can improve your modeling skills with notebooks, and just taking notes and jotting things down that you've learned, and jotting like checklists that you need to do for your next model, and even some diorama stuff. So get excited for that, guys. This thing was one of my best finds, especially being a YouTuber and doing all this stuff all the time. I can read off of this on my videos and erase it and not go through so much paper. But these markers were sweet. Anywhere you'll find markers for $3-4 a pack, and this is for $1, and this board is $1. Like, you just can't beat that at all. I've looked everywhere for nice solid deals like this, and guess what? The dollar store is where it's at, you guys. So definitely check into buying this as well for your hobby room to jot, same thing as a notebook, catch up, maybe draw some designs and different things for your model to have that you might want to jot down before you forget, or anything like that, that may help you remember to do some things that you might forget about in the instructions or something like that. So there's just a whole bunch of uses for this thing. I've been looking online for tubs all over, and I wanted to find some that fit all this stuff. So I got some glues in there and some popsicle sticks, and it's just a really great way to organize things. But I was looking for tubs that would hold my airplanes, and this really is not the size to do it. But the dollar store has some awesome Tupperware and all types of stuff in there to organize stuff like this that doesn't need to be airtight, but still needs to be organized in some way or fashion. Stuff that isn't used all the time, and maybe stuff that you haven't thought of putting in tubs yet. I just have a weird fantasy about having my whole room completely organized, and yeah, so this is the way to go about it, is just check out the dollar store, maybe get yourself some regular kitchen Tupperware to organize some stuff, and some of these bins too.